Welcome. This is Coach Jessy Melendez. Thank you so much for joining me here for the 6 simple steps to launch a youth sports coaching business. This is really a beginner's guide for sports entrepreneurs, or perhaps you're wanting to be a sports entrepreneur. This is really for any youth sports coach, or again, someone who's really desires to be one, and really for any sport. So soccer, volleyball, football, baseball, softball, tennis, swimming, martial arts, boxing, golf, sports, any kind of sport. This model will fit for you. I promise not to bore you, as I will jump right into the 6 steps after a brief intro and why you want to listen to me. All I ask is that you set aside some uninterrupted time. Give me about 30 minutes here. You're going to want to shut off your cell phones, get a pad and paper so you can take some notes, and we are going to go ahead and jump right in. And so the first thing that I want to do is just briefly tell you, who am I and why am I doing this? And how did I even get started in the sports business? So again, my name is Jessy Melendez. I am the proud owner of the Sports Business Institute. I actually got started in the business about 15 years ago. We actually started in about a 3,500 square foot facility, originally known as the TM Baseball and Softball Training Academy in the Bronx, New York. And through that, we were able to build over 17 different programs in that tiny facility. I grew that business from zero to a multiple 6-figure income. And we were able to impact so many of the youth in our community. We helped over 100 of them go off to college with scholarships. And so for us, it really is our mission. From that, I created the Baseball Homeschool Institute. It was the first one ever of its kind. And that's something that I actually can teach through this program, how to create your own homeschool for your sports programs and services. And so why am I doing this? I am doing this because I am on a mission to help other coaches take their God-given gifts and talents and build the baseball business or sports business of your dreams. My vision is to have a community of leaders worldwide. And I know that people want and need this kind of help and support. And so I wanted to put together something that, if it would have been around when I was doing this, would have made my life so much easier, would have removed some of the overwhelm and the confusion that I had when we first started our business and building the business. And so that is why I am doing this. So the topics of discussion that I will cover today is these simple 6 steps, okay? Making the decision, naming your organization, consecrating your decision, getting incorporated, branding your business, and then getting social and launching. Okay, so those are going to be the 6 main points I'm going to cover here today. And so I'm going to talk about making the decision, okay? And so SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so a SWOT analysis is a technique for assessing these 4 aspects of your business, okay? You can use SWOT analysis to make the most of what you've got so that your organization is in the best advantage, and you can reduce the chaos and chances of failure by understanding what you're lacking and eliminating hazards that would otherwise catch you unaware. Okay. And better still, you can start to craft a strategy that distinguishes you from your competitors. And so you compete successfully in your market. Okay. The other part to this is, number one is really you make a decision. You decide, you say, this is what I'm doing no matter what. I've made up my mind. I just have to put the pieces together, the puzzles together, so that I can successfully learn how to launch and scale and build my business the way I've always dreamed of. Okay. So number one is you make the decision. Number two is you actually name your organization. That's how you consecrate your business decision. And so I always like to use the analogy of naming your organization like having a baby. Okay. I remember, for those of us that are parents, when it was time for us to name our child, some people make lists, some people, look up names and see what their meanings are, and, want to pick a name that, either resonates with their family or their values or their, faith or whatever. So naming your organization is going to feel a little bit like that. Okay, but it's also, this is where it gets fun and it gets very real. Okay, the name needs to sound good when it's said out loud. Okay, so keep that in mind. You also want to use a name that has meaning to it and conveys a benefit. Okay, so for us, the Baseball Training Institute basically tells you exactly who we are and what we do. Sports Business Institute, again, tells you basically who we are and what is it that we do. Baseball Homeschool Institute, again. So the other thing that I've always done is, as we've scaled our organization, our business as a whole, I've always been consistent, and I've always made sure to stay consistent with the names that we've chosen. Then you want to test it out on Google AdWords. Okay, you want to ensure that the name is available by doing a simple name search. Okay, so very important. It's one of the things that I really teach through my program. I have a sports business in a box program, and I teach this specific method and how to do that. Okay, so that would be number 2, naming your organization. Number 3, after you've named your organization and you confirm that the name is available, you then want to buy your URL. And that means that you're actually buying the name, so that you can use that for your website, and you can use it also now to have people look you up. And the easiest and the fastest platform that I like for that is GoDaddy. It's GoDaddy.com. When you get to GoDaddy, you actually will put the name that you've chosen with .com or .net, or you can do a combination like baseball training institute. That could be another option. But you're going to want to buy a URL so that no one then has the opportunity to use your name, just in case someone else has the idea of using your name. So you want to consecrate your name and your business now by going ahead and buying the URL. Your next step would be to get incorporated. And so I'm going to just start by saying this, okay? The same way you would have an athlete come to you because you are the professional and they're looking to you for guidance. In this particular, topic, with this particular topic, I'm going to make that suggestion to you, right? I'm going to suggest that you search out and get advice from professionals. So an accountant, an attorney. There is a site online that you could look into. It's called LegalZoom.com, and that might be an option to look into. But nonetheless, you want to make sure that when you're ready to incorporate, you do it right. So what I'm going to cover here is 3 mistakes to avoid when incorporating your business, so that hopefully I can help you not make a very serious mistake starting out the gate. So number 1, as I mentioned, you want to hire a pro. Okay, make sure that it's someone who specifically deals with incorporation. Number 2 is understand your incorporation setup. Okay, many people think that they'll pay less in taxes if they form a particular type of business entity, but this isn't always necessarily the truth. And here are some of the basics about business entity taxation. It's always a good idea to get advice from a business lawyer or accountant before deciding on a tax structure. Okay, so very, very, very important. Okay, and then clarify, and this one I cannot stress enough, and I will implore you, please, if you're going into this business with a partner, I don't care if it's a family member, a good friend, someone you've known for your whole life, Please clarify very clearly what the business partnership will mean, okay? And what percentage will each business partner own of the business? Very, very, very important. And what role will that partner have in your business? So, will they just be a silent partner? Will they be a partner who comes in and works alongside you in the business? Is it someone who just wants to be working, let's say, does the sales and marketing part, and you're the one who does all the teaching? But all of that has to be very clearly identified in a partnership agreement. Okay. So do not ever forego a formal agreement with business partners. It is absolutely essential that you do this correctly. Okay. So that would be your next one. Okay. Then the next one is your next the next step would be to brand your business. Okay. So super exciting and super important. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through these quick 4 steps to branding your business. Okay. So number 1 is, what is a brand? And so simply put, your brand is defined by a customer's overall perception of your business. Okay, so you want to keep that very closely in mind when you're creating your brand. Number 2 is brand identity. Brand identity is the way that you convey this to the public with visuals, messaging, and their experience. Your brand strategy will influence how you present your identity and align it with your purpose for the most impact. Okay. Number 3 is the purpose behind your brand. So before making any branding decisions, first consider this. What is the perception you want to impress on your customers? What's your goal brand? You want to be authentic and really dig into the core of the why of your company. Okay. This high level strategy should help guide you to your branding decision. Okay. And then logo defined. And I know so many people love this. I love when we get into that part. When I'm working with my coaches, when it's time to build logos and come up with themes and color schemes and all that fun stuff, it's always a very exciting part to actually launching your business. Okay, so a logo is an easily recognizable graphic symbol that identifies you as a company. Okay, a commercial product, perhaps, or any public or private entity. It is one of the ways to distinguish a brand in our very competitive world nowadays. A logo is generally a combination of typographs, graphics, symbols, and colors. And think about it, guys. I mean, there's so many companies out there that you can identify simply by looking at their logo. Okay, if you could stop for a second and think of that, what pops into your mind when I say UPS, or when I say Coca-Cola, or when I say Disney? Immediately you think of their logo, right? Like that identifies them. That is their brand strategy to create that kind of existence in the marketplace, right? So it's very recognizable. And so something that you will definitely keep in mind when you are branding your business. Okay. And then the next thing you would do after you've branded your business, so now you've got your logo and you've got the name of so you got your name, you've got your logo, you've incorporated. Now you're going to want to set up a system for customers to get in contact with you. Okay. And so what type of mailing address will you have on your website once you start building up your website? So will you have a PO box? Will you use your home address? Will you have an actual location, a facility? Are you going to be working at someone else's facility and using their address? All things to consider, because it will become a part of, obviously, all of your marketing tools, your business cards, your stationery, obviously your website, So all those things are going to be important. Okay. A professional email is very important when you are setting yourself out again, so that people know that you are serious about what you're doing, right? So you're going to have a professional email address and a professional phone number. Now, if you're using your cell phone, what I'm going to suggest is that you get yourself Google Voice. It is a free app. And you can actually get a free phone number from Google Voice. And whenever someone, and obviously that's the phone number you would use for business. And whenever anyone calls that number, it actually will ring through your Google Voice app. And so you will know that it's specifically for business. Okay. So that would be your next step. And then step number 6 is where you would actually set out your social media. You would start your platforms and getting yourself, visually seen now, and start letting people know what you're doing. And so the biggest platforms that I recommend to the coaches I work with, of course, Facebook. Just consider that there are millions and millions and millions of people that are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. These are platforms that everyone is using now. And so Facebook obviously is a big one. I would suggest setting up a profile page. Okay. That's just your name. And then you're going to set up a business fan page. And that's where you would put your business information. And it always will get tied back to you. Obviously, you're going to be the face behind the brand, but your business fan page should be in your business name. Okay. Same goes for Twitter. Same thing would go for Instagram. Instagram allows you also to have a business page on their platform. Okay, so this also is very exciting when you're setting out, because this now you could start actually marketing yourself, get yourself into the marketplace this way. It is it's an easy way to have marketing. It's free. That's the other big part. And, the real estate on these platforms for you is just magnificent. So you definitely would want to tap into setting yourself up on social media. And then I always say I like to do things fast. I like to do things while relieving my stress and overwhelm. And so I always highly suggest you hire a coach. And the reason I'm even here is to give you the opportunity to work with us. We don't take every single coach. We are selective in who we work with, but we are offering every single person that listens to this presentation a free strategy or discovery call, we call it. And we take about 30 minutes. We're going to dive a little deeper with you. You're going to tell us what your goals and aspirations are with your sports business. And we're going to let you know whether or not we're a good fit for one another. And then we will introduce you to some of the ways that we help coaches actually build and scale the sports businesses of their dreams. So I really, really hope that you've taken some notes today, and that some of this has really been helpful for you. If you ever want to contact us, we're on social media. You can find me, Jessy Rodriguez Melendez, Baseball Training Institute, or of course, you can always just reach me through our discovery call, and we'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. So again, thank you so much. If you're a coach, let me also say thank you, because working with the youth and impacting young people is something that is very dear to our heart. So if you're a sports coach listening to this, I just want to take the time to say thank you for serving the youth and for making a difference and being an impact in our world. Have an amazing, amazing day, and I look forward to speaking to you on our discovery call.